It's time for conversations. Who? What? How? Why?
Don't judge me until you know me. Don't underestimate me until you challenge me. And don't talk about me until you talk to me. Or better yet, mind your business and stop minding mine.
What will be today's conversation? Understanding viewpoints, educating, and stimulating discussions. It's time to connect to T-Horne, your host. It's time for conversations.
Hey, what's good, everybody? It's your boy T-Horne da Uncool on your favorite podcast, Conversations with T-Horne da Uncool. I'm excited to be here today because today is one of those Tuesdays where I like to highlight positive people. But before we do that, let me backtrack a little bit. Y'all know how I am about these current events and stuff. And there is something that's happened that is a big deal in the Black community, in politics, and in the world today. And I want to make sure that we address those issues first and stay relevant with what's going on in the world also. So we're going to highlight positive people, but at the same time, let's talk about today's news too. So with that being said, the issue of discussion today is the Sandra Massey shooting. Yeah, it was a big blow, an unexpected blow to the Black community, the whole Black Lives Matter movement. A lot of police officers are stepping up, speaking their piece about it and everything. And with everything going on with the politics and the election and racism, it's kind of one of those things where it just wasn't the time for anything. I mean, something like this should never happen, but it definitely wasn't the time right now for this to happen, because all it's going to do is cause more division among people in our country, more division when it comes to people of race, but they are not people, but issues of race. More division when it comes to, I guess, even people being able to trust the police to protect them and do the job that they're signed on to do. We shouldn't live in fear of the police because they're doing crazy things and putting us in more danger than the actual crimes we're trying to protect us against. So that's the topic of today. And with that being said, I want to go ahead and bring on some of my guests to the screen. We can talk about that stuff today. If we could bring them on the screen, please. First, we have Miss Tanji Davis. How you doing, Tanji?
I'm good. How are you, T-Horne?
I'm good, man. Very good. So, if you could, before we get involved in our conversation, could you tell our guests about you, who you are, what you do, so they can get a little 411 of what you're about? You know what I mean?
A little 411, yes. Again, my name is Tanji Davis, and I am a realtor here in Jacksonville, Florida, actually in the St. John's area, Nocatee area. And I've been doing real estate for almost about 20 years. I also did it for a while, about 10 years in Georgia. We lived in Georgia for a while. And I am also an entrepreneur, a businesswoman. So I do a little bit of other things as well. And but I'm also a mom of 2 adult children, and I have 3 wonderful grandchildren. And I'm married to my wonderful husband for 38 years. So but I also love empowering women. That is my mission in life, is to empower women to speak their truth, to have a voice, and to always stand up for what they believe in, and to know that they are important and that they can stand up and be heard. You just have to take that step. So I'm very much that's just part of my mission, and incorporating that with home buying and things like that. If you're a single mom, we can help you get into a home. Just got to do those steps to help you get into a home, if you whatever that is. But we try to help empower women to do and be the best that they can be.
That's pretty cool, because most, and let me not say most, because that's not a true statement. From what I've seen a lot of women who are single moms who their first response is to go into depending on the system, like, getting on housing assistance, EBT, Section 8, and stuff like that and everything. So with that being said, are you like giving them an alternative as far as, hey, we can actually get you into your home without being subjected to those programs, or is that something you use also to help get women in their homes?
Well, and what I do, and what we try to work with women on who have those circumstances is try to help them to set some type of disciplines in their life as far as their financial situation, so that they can save. It may be this year, maybe next year. It may take some time, but if we teach you, we train you, we work with you to help you to understand what's needed to get into a home. And so we give you all that information and direction so that if you follow these guidelines within whatever time period, works, even if you are currently in a Section 8 housing, if you can save some monies and do some of the things that we teach you to do within the next year or a couple of years, you could be in your own house. So we have different programs also for first-time home buyers, down payment assistance, different things like that. So we do work with individuals. I love working with women to just teach them and educate them on the process. That's my biggest thing, because a lot of times people think it's just overwhelming and it can't be done because maybe they're on Section 8 or they have government assistance. No, that's an absolute misnomer. That doesn't make you not eligible. It's just certain steps you may have to learn to take. And if you do those steps, we can get you taken care of.
Okay. Well, I'm hearing that. I mean, I hear you talking all that stuff about helping women. I'm kind of jealous. I need help too. So just
we help the men too. We definitely will.
That's really that's cool. That's really cool that you actually take the time to help empower women, because we live in a society today where women, I mean, everybody is struggling, but focusing on the particular struggles of women right now, women are struggling with being single mothers, and you got those dads who aren't helping raise their kids and stuff like that. And just the fact of being a woman, society kind of demeans women to say that they're under men, they can't do certain things, men can do something like that. So the fact that you're taking the time to actually empower those women to say, hey, we can do this too, we can make it too, we can be independent at our homes, we don't have to depend on the system. That's a great thing.
Absolutely. We don't have to depend on the system. We don't have to always depend on men. If you have a man in your life that's helping you, absolutely wonderful. We can work with that as well. But we can also, if you would just follow steps and just take the time out to do the things that are necessary, then the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. And I try to encourage women, everybody, as a whole. We don't have to consistently rely on what's being, the government handouts and things like that. Those are perfect, and those are awesome in the place to help you get to that next level. But if you want to get to that next level, to home ownership, to whatever you need to get to, we're here to help you.
Gotcha. But Tanji, before we get into the topic at hand, they have a question from a guest. It says, is it reasonable to pay cash for a house now? I don't want a mortgage. What's your response to that?
That's a very good question. I mean, I would say it's reasonable if you have the cash. In today's economy, a lot of people don't have that type of cash, just kind of laying around. If you have it, yeah, I don't see where that would be a hindrance. Some people want a mortgage, some don't. But as long as you still have home ownership, that's fine. But in a majority of situations, people do have to rely on a mortgage lender. So my first step is to help, even if you're thinking, okay, I want to pay cash for this house. But if you're looking at, okay, all of the savings that I have saved over 5, 10, whatever years is going to go into this house because you don't want a mortgage. Where's that going to leave you financially if you're putting all of that money into that house? Are you going to have savings to pay the mortgage each month? Are you going to have at least 6 to 8 months savings for emergency situations? So you have to look at all of those factors as if you're just going to say, okay, I'm going to give this money here for a mortgage. There's a lot of other factors in play. You don't want to be, and I know you've probably heard it before, house poor. You don't want to just take all of your savings and just clump it into this house if you're unable to live once you're in the house, so to speak. So there's a lot of factors in play there. And it's just a lot of thought process on what you want your home ownership to look like. If you have that money and you can do it, go for it. And you can consistently still live, pay your bills, do everything you need to do, that's fine. But if it's something that's going to drain you and you're not able to stay in that house, then let's talk about the mortgage process.
Sandra Davis, y'all, she got the answers, you can see. We got another one. Oh man, hold on. We might have to rearrange the way the story of the show and get all these questions up with. I got some questions too. I ain't gonna lie to you. All right, so the second question. I want a tiny house in somebody's backyard. Can you help me find something?
In somebody's backyard. Okay, that's
Real question is, that person wants you in their backyard.
I know, right?
That's the real question.
That may be the first question. Have you
Right.
talked to them yet? And, well, I know tiny houses are like the rage and everything. And of course, if you have someone that wants you to put a tiny house in their backyard, I'm like, just go for it. It's just a matter of fine. I don't particularly, to be honest with you, work with tiny home purchases. However, I do have contacts and other people in my business, in my company, that may be able to help you at least locate that tiny house to put in that person's backyard. So I do have contacts that may be able to assist you with that. Yes.
Okay, well, let me give some of my realtor advice. So if you want a tiny house in my backyard, you can go to Home Depot. They got these plastic sheds, right? What you do? What you do from that point, that's on you. Oh, okay, so
that is a very good alternative.
we got our next guest coming on. Let's go ahead and invite her onto the screen also. Hey, how you doing, Helena?
Hello, I'm having issues with my computer, so I'm on my phone so that if I have to chat and do anything, it may be difficult. So I do apologize.
Okay. It's okay. Hey, we got you here. That's all that matters, all right? You all good. So, real quick, could you tell our viewers who you are, what you're about? And like I told Miss Sandra Davis, give them the 411 on who you be. Let's go.
Hi. So thank you again for having me on the show. My name is Helena Cormier. I am a Christian conservative Republican who loves the Lord with her whole heart. I'm actually a mom of 7 children, and I have 5 grandbabies. I started very young, but yes, they are mine. And we've lived out here in Clay County for almost 24 years, and I was born in Jacksonville. So we're out here now, and I'm running for the Republican State Committee woman. And I am also a realtor as well. So I've been a realtor for about 3 years, and it is a game changer and life changing.
So the good thing about having you two on now is when we get to the questions about, buying houses and getting the real estate, stuff like that, we can get 2 good perspectives. So that's a good thing, good for our viewers and everything.
Maybe you should be able to answer that one about the tiny house.
Yeah, I barely heard that one as I was getting on there. It's difficult, but what I will say out here in Clay County is we've got a company or a nonprofit organization, Operation Barnabas, and they are trying to build a tiny home community. And the only way that they would have been able to do it is if they could have basically done a PUD development and submitted that. Now, the requirements out here in Clay County, you have to have 5 acres of land, and then you can build a PUD development and try to go through all those planning and approval. They're trying to change it a little bit out here to see if they could have less land, because this particular one has about 2 acres, and trying to build the tiny homes for some of our veterans. And so it's a great way to do it if it can get done. Being in somebody's backyard, regulation and code is not going to probably allow it. So you don't want to get shut down after spending all your money doing it. So for me, everything's honest, ethical, and cannot tell a lie. And you've got to obey your county commissioner rules and permits and everything else. So if you can't do it legally, then you may be wasting your money.
Oh, okay. So Helena, I got a question for you. I heard you say something, and Tanya, this will fall under you too. You said you're building small houses for veterans, right?
Well, I'm not, but one of the nonprofit organizations is trying to. So Operation Barnabas is out here in Clay County, and they have realized that trying to have some of the veterans in the same place is a little bit difficult, but they have the capabilities of being able to do some of the individual tiny homes so that these homeless vets can have a place. And so they are focused on your homeless veterans and just loving on them and getting them back what they need so that they can move forward.
Well, that's a good thing, because I'm a veteran myself. I did some time in the Air Force, and I just started getting my military benefits. And when I see those veterans come into the Veterans VA's clinic and stuff like that and everything, and see what they're going through, I'm like, how do people not care? These are people who fought for your country, put their lives on the line, and they get home and they're put in the streets. I just feel like there should be something set up automatically where when a military person, a veteran, gets out of the military, where it's automatic. Boom, we're starting to set them up, get them a house, get them straight, get the place to stay with it. It's been a positive or negative discharge. They still did their time for that country. So I feel like there should be some program set up where they're helping people get in the houses. And veterans just shouldn't be homeless, period, unless it's on their own accord. You know what I mean? So that's just my 2 cents on it. You know what I mean? So,
well, thank you for your service. Yes, yes.
Thank you. I mean, no problem.
We appreciate it.
Gotcha. Okay, so what does a state committee woman do? You got the floor, Helena. Tell us what you do.
Okay, so some people have to understand. Sorry, my hair. You have to understand how the Republican Party works, and we have the REC group here. That's your Republican Executive Committee. You have the board, your chairperson, secretary, treasurer, all of that, and you have a state committee man and a state committee woman, and you're representing the county. For me, it would be Clay County. So I would be representing the county as a whole at the local level with our executive committee. And then I would be going to the RPOF meetings, the Republican Party of Florida. And then when we go to those quarterly meetings, I would have a voice and a vote. So this is a non-paid position, but you're working here at a local level, representing the county, doing everything you can to support your Republican Party. And then you're going to those quarterly meetings, and then you're bringing that information back here. You know, there's just different things. It's a lot of volunteering and just a lot of serving and supporting our candidates and doing everything that we can to help people with the training, being prepared to run.
Wow.
And all of that. So it's awesome.
You have a big heart for doing what you do, because you say you not paid and it takes a lot of volunteer hours. I salute you, because a lot of people wouldn't do it just because they had the heart to do that. You know, especially with how the economy is today, people want to get paid for everything. So I commend you for that. Like, for real.
Thank you. When I get to share my story, I'll tell you why my heart's so big and just, you know, all of that.
Okay. All right. We'll get to that. But now to the topic at hand. You lovely ladies. So I'm pretty sure you guys know and have heard about the whole thing with Sandra Massey, right?
Yes.
So it's going to be a very, very, very good conversation, I believe, because you're getting it from perspectives of Miss Tanja, you actually being a Black woman yourself, and Miss Helena, you actually being involved in politics and telling us how that's going to affect politics and people's views and stuff like that and everything. So, I mean, it's going to be an interesting conversation. But let's start the conversation out by actually showing the clip, news report. I believe it's from Fox 10. I can't remember the channel, but I know we got Fox. And actually show the news clip of what actually happened. Can we play that, please?
Are swirling tonight after Illinois State Police released new body cam video of a sheriff's deputy fatally shooting a Black woman in her home.
2 officers were at Sandra Massey's home to investigate reports of a prowler in the neighborhood. A warning, this video might be disturbing.
You better not. I swear to God, I'll shoot you right in your face. Okay, I'm sorry. Drop the pot! Drop the pot!
Massey had called 911 to report a suspected prowler, but seemed confused when deputies questioned her about it. While taking Massey's information inside, the deputies asked her to turn off the stove, heating up a pot of water. And that's when things take a turn in this video, as you saw. Massey's family is being represented by high-profile civil rights attorney Ben Crump.
We are angry, but I can tell you our anger goes to one person, and that's Sean Grayson.
She needed a helping hand. She did not need a bullet to the face. We won't be satisfied until we get whole justice for Sandra Massey.
30-year-old Sean Grayson is charged with first-degree murder and was fired from the sheriff's office. Grayson pleaded not guilty, and in the video claims he was worried about getting boiling water thrown at him. But a judge says Massey posed no threat. He's being held in jail until his trial. Vice President.
Okay. So for those who haven't seen that, I'm pretty sure that's disturbing and heart-wrenching for a lot of people. But to give clarity on what happened, Sandra Massey actually called the Illinois State Police Department because she believed there was an intruder around her premises or whatever. The police responded, told her that they didn't see anyone, and came inside to get her information. As they were inside, she had a pot of water boiling on the stove and was instructed by police officers to turn off the stove. She went to turn off the stove, and out of nowhere, the cop raised his gun to her as if she was a threat when he actually gave her the order to go to the stove and actually ended up shooting her with some conversation that didn't show in the video. But I know there are some things saying that, she's a very religious woman. She said she rebuked in the name of Jesus and he responded and stuff like that. After that happened, they were trying to get the medical equipment, and the cop, Sean Grayson, actually made the comment saying, and this is me paraphrasing, but basically saying, there's no need, she's gone. That's a headshot to the face or something like that. That, me, I when you first came, somebody said they had not seen that. Yeah, it's been a big talk for the past week and everything. I actually came across that. I was actually sitting watching TV, and my wife was on her phone, and she came across it, and she told me, and I'm just thinking to myself, as a Black individual, it's hurtful. As someone who's seen everything we've gone through with, George Floyd and all that stuff with going on, the Black Lives Matter movement, it's frustrating. There's the fact that you get that feeling of the people who are here to protect you. Can you even trust them? Because like every time you turn around, somebody's getting shot, somebody's getting killed by the same people to protect us for no reason at all. And there's a lot of questions, a lot of emotions that come from that. What do you guys get from that video and what's going on? We can start with you, Ms. Tanya.
Well, first of all, my prayers to the family of Sandra Massey. It's very disturbing. Very disturbing. Again, we're going, off the video and what's being shown. And from what I can see and what I could understand, there was no reason for force of that nature. There was plenty of time, from what I could see, to de-escalate the situation with the water for an order that he gave to her. So I feel that as though it just leaves the community, especially the African-American community, back in another situation of where, like you said, who can we trust? They were called to serve and protect, as they should. She felt someone was, I guess, had a situation where she felt someone was trying to break in or something. And she called the police, which is what you should do. At that point, she should have felt safe enough to know that they were there to help her, not to harm her. And I don't understand how it even got to that point. I just don't. I just do not understand it. I've watched the video a couple of times. I've seen it, and I'm in my mind, I'm just playing the things that I've seen, and I'm just thinking there were so many chances of calming her down, de-escalating if you felt she was going to throw water. I don't know why someone throwing water would be a threat to two large men with guns and tasers, but okay. But I just felt like there was so many alternatives that could have taken place, and for her to lose her life is just unacceptable. It's absolutely unacceptable. And where do we go from here? How do we stop this from happening? How do we do that? What do we do as a community to say we don't want this? We're tired of this. Like I said in my intro, I have two sons, two African-American sons, and it's always on my mind. And I now have two African-American grandkids. That's always on my mind. And they're I have three actually. I have a granddaughter and two grandsons. That's always on my mind. This situation is so unnerving to me that I feel as though I was brought up that you go to the police, and if you have an issue and you need to be protected. That's the way I was raised. I don't know if I feel comfortable even telling my grandchildren to do that. I just don't. And it's sad. It's very sad to me that we are living in this era of we can't feel safe getting the help we need from the people that are supposed to protect and serve. So I honestly question, where do we go from here? What do we do?
It's crazy you say that where you said and Helena, I'm gonna get to you, so I want to hear your point of view also. I'm sorry, but it's crazy you say that because it makes you think of a personal situation I had in my early 20s where I was driving my father's car and I was pulled over and it was by a white police officer. I'm not going to put the name out or anything like that because that's not what we're about on here and anything about spread positivity. But back to the topic at hand, I was pulled over. Uh, the issue was like I had a tail light out, I believe. It was so long ago, I can't remember. But the car obviously was registered in my name, it was registered in my father's name. So the cop was very rude to me. You know, it seemed like he was intentionally trying to press buttons with me to see if I would get out of hand and get irate or respond in a negative way. But the one thing I can say about my father that he taught me was when you run into these police, no matter how you feel, no matter how many buttons they push, you stay calm and you stay in control of that situation because you showing the slightest sign of negativity, that could be a difference between life and death, you know, because we're already looked at as black men as aggressive and people are intimidated by us just because who we are. So I could do anything. I could just get mad, you know what I'm saying? And that could be a sign of somebody's life being threatened to somebody else. And they're gonna automatically respond. So and then he told me to call my father out to the scene, and my father came out and he did the same thing to my father. He was trying to get us to respond, and me and my dad were so. If though we were boiling on the inside, we were able to keep our cool the entire time because we simply knew that hey, we got to be smarter in this situation. We have to because we're not gonna put our lives on the line. And I remember the cop leaving and telling my dad, "Your son, he's a good kid. He's a smart kid. If he would have showed any type of negativity, I would have took his ass down." That's exactly what the cop said. If your son would have shown any sign of negativity, I would have took his ass down. And like your son's smart. Your son's smart. And I just remember that because it's like being in those type of situations, no one should have to fear for their life and the people who are trying to protect them, especially if you're doing something like getting put up for a traffic light or speeding or stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's a lot to it. But Helena,
Yes.
I do want to hear your point of view because with you running for a state committee woman, things like this are going to have a big effect on politics when it comes to who do people vote for and the views of the people running and stuff like that. So, just from your opinion, when you see that video, how does it make you feel as a woman, as a person who's into politics, things like that? Give us your 2 cents on the situation.
Yes. I'm going to try not to cry because I watched the video earlier and, my heart goes out to Sonia Massey's family and just the prayers for them and what they're going through. I cannot even imagine what it's like for them to watch this video. Um, I watched one of the longer clips that was on one of the internet shows, and it showed the police getting there ahead of time, some of the conversation, them being on the inside, um, and just there was so many different opportunities that it never should have got to this. Now, obviously, we don't know any backstory on anything else, but for this one situation, this never should have happened. When and we can't tell from the picture how far away, how many feet she was away from them with that pot of water, but they did ask her to turn it off. To me, there was signs of mental health or something that just was not 100%. That is number one, a factor that we have to keep on in the back of our minds as we're dealing with people and families. But when you're looking at that police officer on the other side of the counter and her being in the kitchen and just knowing from real estate that that should have been plenty far enough away, um, the threat, I mean, obviously, let the lawyers do what the lawyers are going to do. This woman should not have lost her life over this. And the training that we have to do for mental health is imperative. One of the things out here in Clay County, we have Sheriff Cook is our sheriff right now. Currently, she's up for reelection, and she has been so proactive and just phenomenal at being able to do things. They have different registries that if you have a family member who has mental health issues, you can register that family member with them so that the police officers know this person has issues. This is what it is. That information will help any police officers that know what's going on. And so when you think about the politics and how do these things matter, we have to have people in government that are proactive. So, like, I know Sheriff Cook had given an example about one of their family members is a runner, and one is one that will climb trees. So when he leaves and, they're having to search for him, all the deputies know you're not looking on the ground, you're looking up in the trees. That is something that is so imperative to be able to get them quickly, safely back to where they need to and back in, the proper places. Those things are huge. So when we know that there's things that we can learn in our county that we're doing, that we're applying, and if we can share that with another county, that's what Sheriff Cook does. She's trained all over our country on different things. But that's something to be able to help family members understand. Your sheriff in your county, you need to know them. You need to know how their policies are, what they're doing, what their stance is. Are they a reactive or proactive? That's huge. And I don't think people can understand how important it is for us to be honest about our family's medical. Some people don't want to give up that information and they may not want it out there. But when we're talking about their safety and their livelihood, it's huge. And for all of us that work with families that may be involved in family members, people in the community that may have drug issues, may have PTSD issues, maybe, the military homeless, whatever it is that you're working with, you need to have some special training so that you understand when you see somebody in crisis or when you see somebody in that state of mind that is not rational, that you understand you're not working with somebody that's 100% thinking the way we would normally think. And we have to pay attention to that. For me, when I've tried to raise my kids and teach them that you never know that person at the store, at the stoplight, at wherever, you can't just go off on somebody. You can't speak to somebody the way you want, whatever way you're feeling. You have to speak with respect, and you don't engage in that hostility or negativity because you don't know that other person's mentality or their mental state or where they're at. And the last thing you want is for something tragic to happen. You're just going to the grocery store, you're standing in line, and all of a sudden an attack happens. So we have to be mindful that we don't know what the other person is going through and to be cautious because not everybody is 100%, and that's okay. Like 100, like we have to understand that everybody is a person. God loves that person no matter what's going on with them, no matter what in life has got them to that situation, whether it, I've seen teenagers that huffed paint growing up in the neighborhoods. They lost their mental state. I'm 100%. Their brains were never the same. We still have to love them and we still have to try to work with them and we still have to try to do because God still loves them and they are still worthy of loving, but they're not going to think the same. And that's the unfortunate consequences. And so my heart, I mean, just it's so sad and it was so pointless. And I pray that one of the videos that I did watch had a pastor that was talking about a training within the churches. And I know there's a lot of churches that have security teams. Our church does as well. And this is, if we can learn from this so that this doesn't happen to another person, then that's the best we can do in a situation like this. Learn from it, make sure this doesn't happen again. And remember, there's always a bad seed in everything, no matter if it's, a doctor, a nurse, a police officer, a pastor, even, please don't judge all of them by one person's actions. That person's going to get held accountable. And I pray that the justice system takes care of it and that there's that's resolved in a way that brings justice for the family. And just remember that when we are being,
That's true.
we can't blame everyone. They're all different. It's just like all of us are different, and we all come from different perspectives. And not all of our police officers are bad. And
Definitely not. You're right. I agree with that.
Absolutely. I wanted to kind of add something, and I agree with that. Everyone is an individual, and each individual makes their own decisions in whatever situation. So, yes, you were absolutely right. Everybody, all police officers or doctors, whatever, everybody is not the same. I know there was something going on, around for a while talking about defunding or what have you, the police. And I think we need to have very good police officers in our communities, number one. But I think they also need to be trained well, like she said, Helena said. But also for me, I don't know how this is going to be accomplished. And this may be a question for you, Helena. But I feel like in that situation, at least this particular situation, if there was a way or some way where if he kept his wits about him, he was able to call in a professional who deals with mental illness. If he felt that there was something a little off with what she was doing, because, like you said, she said something about the name of Jesus. And at that point, maybe you thought, okay, maybe something's a little off. Maybe we need to call in some other resources that can maybe help us to understand what we're dealing with, to maybe understand if she's getting a little agitated or whatever, that can calm her down or what have you. I don't know. But maybe just being able to have that in our community, in our police department, someone that can be there to kind of help in those situations with mental illness, that can work with the police when they're going on some of these calls. Because yes, I understand the way that what they're being trained to do, but sometimes, like you said, it's simply because it's the way that person is, the mental illness that person is dealing with. If they're told, like you said, someone's going to be in a tree, you don't want a police officer to go there and shoot this person because they're in a tree. Right. And, if that's the only training that they're getting. But if maybe there's some mental health resources within the departments of our police department that can go with them, or they can call on them and say, hey, we've got this person in this tree that we need you to help us to figure out how to get them out of the tree safely and get them the help that they need.
Kind of like a mental health liaison almost.
Yes, yeah. Like a liaison of some type. Somewhere in our budgets, in our cities and in our counties, we can include that in our budgets, in our police departments. I think a lot of that, especially with the mental health issues that have taken place with these, people being killed by the police, I think I personally think that may help, because when that person is having those episodes, they don't know what's going on. And that police officer is, of course, their training is to do whatever they think they're supposed to do to protect. So somewhere in the middle, there's got to be a middle ground. There's got to be someone in the middle to kind of understand both sides and to be able to work with both sides and say, hey, we're not dealing with somebody that's necessarily dangerous and trying to harm you. They just don't know what's happening right now. Let me see if I can help to get them back on track. So whatever that looks like is my point. And I don't know how that's accomplished in our local local government. I feel like that's something that we need to have in place.
I'm sorry, so I don't laugh. I see Helena throw that finger like.
I know. So out here, because we want to be respectful and not. So out here, Sheriff Cook partners with the Clay Behavioral, and so the community partnerships and the collaboration among our county is huge. So the Clay Behavioral has resources that when the police officer calls them, they'll have somebody that is on call and gets out there, and they're there within, a certain amount of time so that they can help these people, because not everybody needs to be arrested. And there's times that when you do have somebody with mental health and there is that awareness and everybody knows it, they need that de-escalation, because at the time, if there's a behavioral where they're violent and you need it to come down, but they haven't gotten to that point yet, that having that resource is huge. And so having strong communities, I cannot explain enough on how important they all work together, and having that communication so that they're all on the same page, being able to make sure that our systems are talking to each other. is another one as well.
And I believe that if we do have someone that is, like you said, that comes in and helps, it may not only help the person with the mental illness, but even that police officer who may be whatever triggered at that moment or feeling agitated or feeling uneasy about what the situation may be able to help even calm that police officer down so that they won't shoot them. So, okay, this is what needs to happen. We're not dealing with whatever, but it's kind of like you said, that liaison, someone to just help cooler heads prevail in situations that are just not the necessary actions that don't need to be taken, such as this one. There were two officers there, and it should have been there should have been some type of just take a breath.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a pot of water. We understand that. First of all, it's water. At the most, he would have had some burns and he could be okay, but she would still be alive. But at least let's take a breath, give her a moment to decide what's going to happen with the water. And these are just my solutions. I'm not saying this is right or wrong. Maybe the second officer could have gone over and turned the water pot off himself while he talked to her. I don't, these are just things that I was thinking through as I was watching the video. You've got two officers. Hey, the water's boiling. Would you mind going over there and turning that off so we don't have a fire while I sit here and talk with Miss Massey, find out what the situation is. So there were just a lot of avenues there that could have been taken. And maybe if a third party was there, who knows, they could have brought those into focus to help the police officers recognize, hey, just a moment, she just needs a little help, just calm down and we can get this taken care of.
100%. The longer video that I saw, the police officer noticed
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut y'all off. You're good. You guys are giving good content. I promise you are. But at the same time, I do want to make sure, because we have viewers actually making comments too, and I want to make sure that their statements included too, and we address them also. So if we could we have some of those statements pop up on the screen that are going on while we're having the conversation? First one: don't register me as crazy. That's scary. I feel that one. Reason means because if you walk around with an armband or some kind of identification to let people know that, hey, I got this going on, this mental illness, stuff like that, people are automatically going to judge you and treat you different. First of all, they're not going to know what's wrong with you. So 1,000 crazy possibilities might run through their head, and based on what they're thinking, is going to be the direct reflection of that is going to be how they treat you, because they may think, okay, and I hate to use these words, but people use words when they say mental illness, they use words like retarded, slow, and stuff like that and everything. And that's just the status quo of what goes through most people's heads and stuff like that. So I can understand that. You guys have anything to say about that?
Well, I think the understanding that I received from what she was saying was not necessarily that everybody knows that you have this mental illness. It's just maybe something that is on record with the mental health department, that the police department has access to, and only them, so that when something escalates and your name comes up and whatever, if they're pulling it up, okay, we have a call here at this location and this person lives here, they can see that, and only they can see that, hey, we're going to be dealing with someone that may have a mental illness. It's not a public knowledge. It's something maybe in a private registry that these two entities communicate with in order to help the person that they're possibly going to be dealing with. That was my understanding. Am I correct, Helena?
Yes. Yes. It's a volunteer base for the families to be able to do. And it's one of those, you could have somebody with Alzheimer's or, different things. There's a lot of different things, and it's not about being registered as crazy. So please don't take, it to that extreme type thing. It's about, if you have a health condition that needs to be aware, and you need the people to be aware that this is what your family member struggles with, it may be beneficial to you, so that when the police officers come there, they know that this is something, if you've got a paranoid schizophrenic and they're diagnosed with that, that's a very serious one. It's important for the people to understand, that that's what they're dealing with. You've got somebody who's deaf, and you've got a police officer giving them orders, or hard of hearing even. And I've seen that one in front of me where someone was hard of hearing, and, the police officers giving them commands and they weren't complying, and that hurt my heart because I saw that person punched in the face to get their, and that I mean, it broke me because it's like I knew this person had health issues, and it's hard. I mean, it is so hard.
I think if you think of it in the light of, like I said, it's a private registry between the two community two entities, so it's not like it's out there. But if you also think of it, how many times we walk around, we go to the grocery store or the whatever, and we see people with their service animals or whatever. We don't know what their issue is. We just know they have a service animal, whatever that means. We don't. It's not displayed on their service animal. Oh, I'm this or I'm that. It's a service animal, and they have that service animal for whatever reason. So it's kind of just letting someone know and letting these entities be aware of what the possibilities are or could be when they're answering those calls. Like you said, the schizophrenic or the person who was deaf. My mom had dementia, and there were times when she would, have her moments and would leave the house and things like that. And it would, that's terrifying to have someone to leave the house not in their state of mind. And if you call the police, you don't want the police to aggressively approach them because you don't know what they're going to say. You don't know, and then something just terrible happens, and it's not that person's fault. They have dementia. They're going through an episode. So at least if something was on record, okay, this person at this address, whatever, has dementia, and then when that police person pulls that address up, oh, this person we're dealing with is a possible dementia patient. I think they would better know how to handle it, or at least be able to bring in the resources that are within the department to say, hey, I need you to come with me because we have a possible whatever, and we can see if we can help this person.
Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. All right, the next statement that came up was that policy would not have helped in this situation. They asked her, had she taken her medication? So he appeared to have known her. He was the one. So when I say he was the one, that he was the one in the wrong. So with that statement, I don't know for sure, but it was stated that there was some way that they could tell. I don't know if it was by an armband or something. There was something that let the police know that she was dealing with some state of mental illness. So the police did know. And so how do you guys feel about that? Now we know the fact that the police didn't know she was dealing with type of mental illness and still responded in the same way. Because honestly, I have questions. And some of those questions are, once you, like, for example, if she called you guys to the house to help her, how did you guys perceive her as a threat in any way? If she's calling for your help, is it because of the mental illness you assume that she was a threat? And that's why I was saying what I said before about people being registered, because people already, like, when they realize that there's a mental illness you're dealing with, people already make assumptions. And if she called you guys for help, I don't see any reason you would assume her as a threat unless you were basing it off her mental illness. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I completely understand what you're saying. And again, that's where that third party would come into play. If they knew that going in, and they would have either brought along or called someone to say, this is what we're dealing with. And hopefully that person would have been able to de-escalate the situation. I don't really know. Like you said, I have a lot of questions as well. But if there was somebody there that could have de-escalated, of course, as we stated earlier, there's always going to be that one bad apple. And we can't just make a blanket statement about every police department in the country, because there's in every, situation, there's just always going to be that one bad apple. And this may have been that one bad apple that either way, whatever happened may have still happened. We don't know. But I think if you're talking just overall as a whole, if we can have protocols and things in place that will possibly help, I think it would be better than just saying, okay, we're trusting this police officer who's trained in a certain way to deal with a mental illness and not know what to do with that and possibly get it escalated like it did. Or if we can bring in a resource that can say, hey, no, this is what we're dealing with. Stand down, let me work with her. Let me see what I can do to help de-escalate the situation and take care of whatever the reason was that she called.
Gotcha. Okay, we got 10 minutes for the break. Helena, you want to get some insight on that statement?
So it does get tricky if, you know, there's a stereotype, if they know something about you, and, you know, and I felt like there was some history whenever I watched the video, but obviously we don't know all the details. We don't know all that backstory. We don't know what they knew about her or how many times they've been there or if they've had other encounters that were violent. I have no idea on those things. And so, but I know just from us looking at this one incident from today, or, you know, from that one incident, it shouldn't have happened. There was no, you know, it shouldn't have happened. This will be a learning for all of us, that go back and watch, a training for people to be able to look and see. Um, I wish to God that other officer would have just shut the water off, you know, because he in the video that I saw, he addressed it first and saw it, and then she got up and went in there to go turn it off. You know, why do that? Let her finish getting her ID that they were looking for, and just shut it off real quick. But it's too it's too late. It's already done. Those actions have already been taken, and a family lost their loved one, and so it's heartbreaking, and I'm so sorry that it happened this way.
We talk about mental illness on Miss Massey's part. And that's the good question. It says, was this mental illness or was it a vulnerable woman? I say a little bit of both, but majority of the vulnerable woman, because like I was saying before, we talk about mental illness on Miss Massey's part, but sometimes there are some mental illnesses that aren't diagnosed that make you deal with anger. If you look back at Sean Grayson in his past, this was his sixth police department he was working for, and apparently he's had issues like I don't know for a fact, but they have to work for 6 different police departments. Apparently there's some issues you're having, and even though it didn't show in the clip, on other video clips, there is a scene where he automatically threatens her and says, "I will shoot you in the effing face," for no reason at all. Like, why is that your first response to someone getting water out or turning water off stoves? You tell a vulnerable woman that obviously Mr. Grayson is well in size, but way bigger than her and everything. You have this little woman, you're like, "I will shoot you in the effing face." Why did you feel that was the appropriate response? So do you guys feel like this is more mental illness, or was it just a vulnerable woman in a bad situation?
Well, we don't know all of the details, and we're going by what we've been told, that there was some illness in this instance. And as far as, but she still was a vulnerable woman. And again, I think when it comes to this particular case or this particular situation in this particular police department, my questions are, like you just said, he had worked for X number of departments, 6 of them over a short period of time. What is their criteria? What is their vetting process for hiring their police officers? Do the police sheriffs and what have you, are they hiring the most competent, most capable ones, or are they just, okay, we need some police officers and just put this guy in there? Right. 6 different companies, you know? So what is their vetting process? We need to have more stringent vetting processes. We need to make sure, and I think someone indicated mental health training. There is so much more training that needs to go into our police departments and our systems of government, as far as making sure that we are getting the right people on the police force that have got the right training, that have the heart and the compassion, that if they are dealing with someone with mental illness, that they will be able to handle it. Apparently he himself may have had some issues to be triggered so quickly, by, like you said, a 5 foot whatever woman in some hot water. What are we looking into that situation? Or are you just bringing people onto the force because you need bodies? So I think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered and looked into, as far as the case itself, but also the police departments as a whole. Okay. What are the processes for you hiring these people that are coming on and have all of these anger issues possibly, or whatever the situation is? We need to have someone looking into that.
I like the statement that popped up now: more mental training, mental calmness, and less God complex needs to be instilled in police officers, period. And I agree with that in a sense, because, and not just with police officers, that's anybody who's in a position of authority automatically feels like, because I'm protecting you, You have to follow my rules or I'm over you. You know, I mean, a lot of police officers, and this is my opinion, this is strictly my opinion, so don't take it as fact, but get in that position of authority and feel like, hey, you know, I'm in control. You do what I say, or there will be consequences. Period. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of people are scared because you being in a position of authority and protection doesn't make you anybody's guy. It doesn't make you dominant over anyone. And that's the complex that I think a lot of police officers get. Helena, do you have anything to say about this? I know with you being in politics, you probably deal with a lot of police officers and stuff like that. And like you said before, all police officers aren't bad. I know a lot of good ones, a lot of good ones. But what's your opinion? Well, you got like 3 minutes before we gotta get into the break. You have anything you want to get insight on about that?
So I do work a lot with our police officers out here and with the sheriff's office, and my son-in-law is actually a PD at the Green Cove PD, and you know, so we do have close relationships with a lot of them. And for us out here, I know that the hiring policy is very strict, and they're doing everything they can to recruit qualified police officers. It's very important that they're doing that vetting process. And I know that for the sheriff's office, you know, when they do that, the lie detector test, and if there's things that pop up in there about PTSD or different things from military people, they don't get hired. And, you know, because they want to make sure that they're hiring people that can serve and protect and that aren't going to end up becoming a danger to the ones that they're trying to protect. And so understanding that that is a real thing and it really does happen. And our police officers are the administration is trying to do what they can. I know Illinois is different from down here in Florida, you know, and where we're at out here in Clay County and in Green Cove and just with our area out here is different from what they're going through. They may not be able to get police officers, but we can't just settle for anyone to fill a spot because you're going to have situations like this. So we've got to be supporting our police officers to keep us safe, and do what we can so that they're getting the training and that they want to be able to serve and protect our communities, because we do need them, but we do need qualified ones and ones that are going to protect us to the fullest. And most of the time they do. You know, they're always the ones running into whether it be the fire or the line of fire or whatnot while we're trying to get out, you know, and that takes a brave person and a lot. So we covet the prayers for everybody as a whole. This will change that community, and I pray that we are able to learn from this and take from it as they do watch that video footage. And I'm thankful that they had the video footage. You know, body cameras are important, and having that out there is just going to change a lot of answers. So I encourage the departments to continue moving for that.
Gotcha. Okay, guys, we're getting close to our break mark and everything. When we come back, we're going to talk more to Tanja and Helena about what they do in the community and real estate and answer any questions everyone may have concerning real estate. Also, as you see with this podcast, we promote nothing but positivity, get you guys information, provide understanding. If you support what this podcast does, what we're trying to do, please support by donating to our Cash App. That is money sign TDA Uncool. T the Uncool. The money sign T the Uncool. Thank you for your support. And we're going to take a 10-minute break and be right back with information about Miss Tanja and Miss Helena.
The Levi Long Sickle Cell Association announces support group gathering every second Thursday of the month at 11 o'clock a.m. Join us at the Applebee's Grill and Bar meeting space located at 225 Florida 312 in St. Augustine, Florida. Join us to meet, greet, learn resources, and enjoy lunch that you order. Support group gatherings are sponsored in part by It's All About Jesus and Me Teaching Ministry Incorporated and Angie B Productions. The Levi Long Sickle Cell Association announces regular support group gatherings the second Thursdays of every month at 11 o'clock a.m. For more information or to reserve your space, call 407-914-6519.
Are you ready to improve your health? The immune system is the body's first line of defense against germs and diseases that make us sick. Studies have shown the ingredients in this cutting-edge supplement help strengthen the immune system's ability to fight illnesses, diseases, and abnormal cell growth. Our 100 milligram helps to maintain good overall health, and the 500 milligram is for those with the more serious health challenges. Superimmune support may also help the immune system fight symptoms of high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, heart disease, and respiratory issues. This product can boost energy levels, aid with better sleep, and much more. Check out the testimonies and experience the awesome power of Superimmune support today. www.dfcmarket.
I am in my happy place, and I've got Georgia on my mind. Save the date. It's time to shine at the 8th annual Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Beauty Bazaar and Weekend Retreat. Join us September 19th through the 22nd, 2024 in historic St. Mary's, Georgia. A fundraiser for the National Alopecia Areata Foundation, spreading awareness and acceptance. Follow us on Facebook, Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Beauty Bazaar. Our host hotel this year is the Shore Stay Plus by Best Western, St. Mary's, Cumberland. Weekend retreat activities include the Friday Fun Photo Shoot, picnic lunch back at the hotel, and the Royal Blue Beauty Bazaar Fashion Show takes place on Saturday. For more information, call 407-914-6519. That's 407-914-6519. I'm in my happy place. Come join me.
What's up, everybody? The Dental Diva here to talk about stain.
It's time for the Dental Diva.
Do you have stain? Is it a problem for you? I'm going to give you some tips on how to reduce that stain. Stain can be caused by a number of different things. It can be from your beverages you're drinking, like coffee or tea or wine, or even the foods we may eat, like blueberries. When stain sticks to the teeth, it makes the surface of your tooth very rough. When something is rough, it makes more plaque adhere to that. Think about a snowball effect. Once the plaque hardens into tartar, then more stain adheres to that, and that causes more plaque, and then tartar on top of that. And before you know it, you have stain on your teeth that cannot be removed with your toothbrush. What can you do then to reduce the amount of stain? I tell my patients, if they're going to drink coffee or tea or eat some sort of food that causes stain, try to brush after you're eating that food or beverage. Even rinse if possible. If you're drinking something, try to drink through a straw and be done with it at that setting. Do not sip on it all day long. Always make sure you're brushing your teeth twice a day also. Coming in every 6 months for your cleanings. There are some bleaching agents on the market that can help with your stain.
Contact Lynn Weaver, the Dental Diva, at smartsmilesllc@gmail.com. First, we invited you to save the date for the 8th annual Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Beauty Bazaar and Weekend Retreat coming to St. Mary's, Georgia. Yep, the phones are ringing. Come shop with our vendors, Unique Creation, Ms. Walker with Mary Kay Cosmetics, and many more. We're excited to introduce you to our featured fashion show designer. Affordable airport transportation is being provided by Towns Enterprise Services, LLC, and our premier sponsor is returning to teach us about AMBA. Special guest performance by T-Horne da Uncool.
You got your eyes on me, I can see them. Like you on Facebook, but I can delete your eye. Put you on a block, list. I keep nothing secret, so at night I gotta choose what kind of meal I'm a future boy.
Get your tickets today for only $10. Send a cash app to 407-914-6519. That's 407-914-6519 for the cash app. Or come on out and join us. 407-914-6519. I see you looking.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It is T-Horne da Uncool, and we are back real quick. You see, you got the Bold, Beautiful, Bald Beauty Bazaar You see that guy performing, you got to go check him out. If you go for anything, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff going on. You definitely gonna go check out that boy T-Horne da Uncool. I heard he is a awesome performer. I mean, that's just what I heard. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to know for sure, you gotta find out for yourself. And you can go on YouTube, listen to it. I mean, take your time, do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? But that boy T-Horne, he the one. All right, moving on. Let's get back to our conversation. We just got done having that conversation about Sandra Massey and the tragedy that happened, but now we're gonna get into something more positive. Let's bring our guests back on the screen and talk about getting these houses, getting the real estate. We got Helena back on the screen. Hey, Helena. We got Tony back on the screen. Hey, guys, welcome back.
Hi,
Thank you.
So, guys, now I get to nitty gritty. My positive people portion of the podcast. You guys are both in real estate. Now, with that being said, buying houses, from my opinion, from what I see, buying houses is something everybody wants to do, but kind of isn't in the ballpark for people right now, this day and age with the inflation and things like that and everything. So, with you guys, well, actually, let's do it this way. Let's give you guys time for people who are just tuning in to reintroduce yourselves so people can understand who you are and what you do. Start from Miss Helena, and Miss Helena, you talk about your state committee woman stuff too, if you want to also. But let's go ahead and start from Miss Helena. Go ahead and reintroduce yourself to everyone and tell them what you're about.
Hello, everyone. Thank you again for being here. My name is Helena Cormier, and I am a grateful Christian conservative Republican who loves the Lord with her whole heart, mom of 7 kids, Gigi of 5 grandbabies, and I've been doing real estate for about 3 years. So it's changed the trajectory of my life and our kids' lives. For me, I hold public office as a supervisor of a community development district, so a CDD community, and I have a state license as well, with the realtor. And I'm a candidate for the Republican State Committee woman for Clay County. And the early voting starts August 8th through the 17th, and it'll be decided August 20th. And I covet your prayers.
So vote for Helena. Vote for Helena.
Yes.
If you're
Any
in Clay
registered
County,
Republican in Clay County have to be registered Republican.
Gotcha. Miss Tanya, you want to give your spill?
Hi, yes, thank you so much again. I'm Tanji Davis. I am a realtor with Coldwell Banker Vanguard Realty here in St. Johns County, the Nocatee area, but I cover all of Florida, so I can do everything. But I'm also married for 38 years, and I am a mom of 2 young adult men, 2 beautiful daughter-in-laws. And I am a Gigi as well of 3 grandchildren. And so, yes, I love what I do. I've been a realtor now. And I was just telling T-Horne, I didn't realize it's almost 20 years. But I do love it. And I'm also an entrepreneur. I am a Mary Kay consultant as well. So I do a little bit of that as well. So, and I love it.
Okay. So questions, real estate questions for you guys. Let me give you guys a scenario. I know this guy, this very handsome guy. His name starts with a T and it ends with an H. I'm not gonna get into it and everything, but he hasn't bought his first home yet, and he has issues involving things like maybe not having enough money, being afraid to even go out there alone to get credit to put a down payment or whatever, and really doesn't know any information because he's been renting for so long about how to go about getting his first home. What advice would you have to give for someone like that? Somebody handsome and whose name starts with a T and last name starts with an H.
Do you want to start later either or?
So it doesn't matter how handsome you are or not handsome you are. We're going to help you. It doesn't matter what your credit is or what your name is even. We're going to try to do everything that we can to educate. Education is huge. So for me, one of the things that people don't understand, you need to have a good realtor that is going to care about you and your best interest and not about their paycheck. The paychecks come eventually. One of the things, so I'm a realtor with Florida Homes Realty and Mortgage, and we are statewide throughout Florida as well. I typically only work in Clay County unless there's, something major pressing that, I need to. But for me, it's Clay County because that's it's easiest for me to drive and to service and do everything that I need, and I can be the best realtor because I know this area, and they're the ones where they're specialized in their areas. So for me, if you want to move out here to Clay County, let me know. One of the things that I didn't mention is friends tell friends to take a realtor to the builder. You need personal representation. That sales agent at the builder works for the builder, and if you walk in there alone and you give them your information, then they will not pay for your agent, but otherwise they would. And so they're always going to have that loyalty to that builder because that's the one that pays their paycheck, and that's the one that is it's just different. So do not give them any of your information. Please make sure that if you're listening, no matter where you live at, do not walk in there. Do not sign up at event or whatever that they're doing, Fall Fest. If you give them your information, you become their lead. If you go online and you click on that button, so because you're just dying to see that house and you don't want to be patient and wait for your realtor, you will it will not be good for your financial pocket. And the other thing, the broker that I'm with, his name is James Angelo, and he got tired of brokers taking the 25% commission. So he flipped the script and he started his brokerage back in 2008, and he did a flat fee company. So for me, that's very important, and for you as well. So for me, he charges 0.002 of the sale price. So on a $300,000 home, he charges $600, and I keep the rest of my commission. And then he also allows me, he will give up to 25% of that money for agents that I have under me, because he, just believes that if he does everything to help us be successful, eventually it works out well. What I've learned is I've taken that same information, and I've lived out here in Clay County 24 years. I've seen the market go up and down, and we've seen the highs and the lows, the sales. It's been crazy. And I always believed, I always heard that test was too hard to pass. That was a lie, and I do not want people to believe that lie. If you can read, memorize, and study, you can pass that test. Now, as a person, if you give me a referral and you say, Helena, go help my mom sell her house, and I go sell her house and I say thank you, I can legally give you a $25 gift card, say thank you for that referral. But if you have your license and you say, Helena, I went and got my real estate license. I want to buy me a house, but I don't ever want to be a realtor. But when I give you that referral, I want 25%. Guess what? I can do that. People do not understand that. It costed me less than $500 to get my real estate license. I did it online. I got my license, got everything activated in the state. When you get your license in the Florida department, when you put it in there and you have it in there and you get your license, it's inactive and you can't actually do real estate. And you have to pick one broker that you're going to hang your license at. So if you hang your license at Florida Homes under me, then you are now activated in that system and you can be a referral agent. You don't have to be a realtor. You don't have to join the MLS. You don't have to pay all those other fees. But let's say the market were to be hot and you want to jump in, guess what? You're already there. Learning how to be a realtor is a whole nother ball game. But for you, you're always going to know that circle of friends. There's agents that pay Zillow 35% for a lead. I don't want to pay Zillow in a big box company when I could help my friend have that commission check. And out here, $10,000 commission check is very reasonable. 25% is $2,500. That's no laughing matter. That's somebody's back to school budget, their Christmas budget, their fun money, whatever, just by saying, hey, go help them buy or sell a house. And so I want education. I believe that all young people should hold a real estate license and do that continuing education because they're always going to know their circle of people. Now, realtors weren't always telling people this, but I believe that it's worth sharing and that we should because we should empower everybody else as well. And to help these families, if you're capable of learning, go for it. Yes, get your license and then call me.
Somebody said I need to get my license too. I'm playing. Y'all making money.
It's and the builders pay even more, because they do different commission and different stuff. But for you or anybody else that's trying to get that first time home, that is an avenue that if you want to put the blood, sweat, equity in there, it's worth it, because if you were to say, hey, Helena, I'm doing this one and it's a slow market, I want 50% for my down payment. You can do that. You can
Sandra,
negotiate it.
got you. Sandra, you had something to say also? I heard you you trying to say something earlier.
Yeah. I was just going to say, yeah, if that's something that you are interested in doing and getting your license, absolutely. There's more. There's a bike for everybody, you know, and I agree with that part. For those who don't want to get their license, I do know people who are there that are like, no, we don't want to do that. So if you don't want to get your license, there are programs that will help you as a first-time home buyer. That is money, some certain monies that are out there. There's Hometown Heroes. There's, you know, certain down payment programs that you can possibly qualify for. There are some guidelines, of course. There's no free money. I tell everybody, do not think that first-time home buying programs are free money. They are not. There are some guidelines that you do have to meet in order to get that money. If you don't want to be a realtor, you just want to buy a house, there are some guidelines. So there are some things. My husband and I, we work closely together. He is a branch manager for a mortgage company, so he's a mortgage lender. So he and I work together on a lot of our things, with a lot of clients. And we are very much about education. Like she was saying, we are very much so. If you come to me, that person who begins with a T and ends with a, yeah. And you say, you know, hey, I don't know where to begin. I don't know what to do. I only have very little money. I've been renting. We will sit down with you. We actually take the time to sit down with you and say, okay, let's look at where you are right now. Let's look at your financial situation. Let's look at what you're wanting to do, where you are at this moment, and where you want to go. We will sit with you and map out a program, a guideline, and say, okay, if you do this, if you don't want to be a realtor, but if you follow these guidelines and you do this and you take care of this or what have you, and we give you the programs that may be available to you, and say, you know, you may not be able to get that house today, but if you're patient and you follow the guidelines, within 6 months, 9 months, within a year, what have you, you may be able to get into the house. And yes, we know there are with inflation and things that are going on, and homes are increasing. That's just be real. You know, the prices of home are increasing, insurance is increasing, but we can work with you to help you get on track to get to the point where you're qualified to get that home. So we do work with you. We have systems in place that we say, okay, if you do this, and we've done that with a lot of our clients, a lot of our customers. You know, we work with them. We'll say, hey, today's not the day, but here's your roadmap. We're going to follow you on this roadmap. We're going to stick with you. You have any questions, any concerns? And a lot of our customers, they love working with us, because on the mortgage side, they can call him and ask him questions. And then I'm also here on the real estate side. And trust me, we've gotten that confused sometimes, because they'll call me about some mortgage stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's him. So, but we're almost like a one-stop shop where we can answer a question. And if you do have a mortgage question and you can't reach out to him, give me the question. I will reach out to him. I can find him. I'm sure I can find him, because he'll be home tonight. So, you know, and I can make sure that he contacts you. So there are things that can be done. I never say home ownership is impossible. It's possible, but sometimes you may have to put a little bit of work in, you know, so just be patient. Work with the guidelines that we try to give you, and we can get you to where you need to be.
So, quick question. I had a lot of verbiage being thrown out as far as people have to deal with when it comes to getting your own home. I've heard realtor, I heard broker, I've heard builder, I heard mortgage lender. It seems like a very complicated process to get your own house, rather than just going to the rental office and be like, hey, you know, I can fill out a couple sheets of paper, you check credit, and then I can get moving to this little rental property or whatever. With that being said, with it sounding so complicated, what are some of the first steps you think someone should take when it comes to buying their own house, with, or someone who doesn't know all that information and all that stuff? What are some of the first steps, or some of the first people even you think they should talk to?
So for me, when I have someone to reach out to me and they say, hey, I want to buy a house, but I don't know what my first steps are, I will direct them to my husband or a mortgage professional of their choice. Let's get with them to see where you are at this moment. What does your financial history, what does your financial record, look, what does that look like? They will guide you and say, oh, like I said, this is where you are, this is where you want to be. What steps needs to be taken with your financial history to get you to that point? And so it's just a matter of reaching out and saying, okay, here's my information. This is what I want to do. Can you help me? And you can start with the realtor, or you can start with the mortgage professional. More than likely, you're going to end up starting with that mortgage professional, just so we can get a snapshot of where you are financially to get you to where you want to be, so that you can get whatever that house. Because if you think about, like you said, yeah, you can walk into that rental office and sign a lease, and get that apartment or home or whatever. But the money that you're spending to do that could be used to put toward a house that you can purchase. So, I mean, we've had some people where they've been renting for 4 years, 5 years, whatever. And when we show them a snapshot of how much money they've spent on rental costs, it blows their mind, because they're like, what? I spent $100,000 in rent and I could have bought a house? And then we're like, yeah, you could have bought a house. And with rental prices in the area they're also increasing. Sometimes what you're paying in rent, you can maybe even pay a little bit less to own your own home. So those are the things that we will sit down and we will discuss with you and say, this is where you need to start. Let us help walk you through that to get you to where you need to be.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Elena, you got any insight on that?
Yes. So, I mean, pretty much what she said, it's very important for people to understand when they're renting, they're buying a house or they're paying for a house. They're just paying for someone else's because it's their investment. And so when you go to move, you get to take the clothes off your back. But when you own a house and you want to move, you get to sell it, and then you get to walk away with that equity and put it on your next place or do what you want. So just remember that when you're paying your rent. But, for the most part, you have to do that buyer's consultation, and you have to find out from the lender what you can actually, if you qualify, if you can get pre-approved, if you've got to wait a little bit, and what you can actually shop for. So they're hand in hand. So know the realtor and know the lender so that you can work together and having one that will be able to get it to closing. And we understand this is not an instant, let's get this done in 30 days. This is a lifelong process. There's sometimes, for me, when I bought in 2018, we owned our house in 2000. And then in 2018, we were selling that one and wanting to move to a new house. We had a late payment on our mortgage, and no lender could touch us until like August of that year. And so this was in February. We had got a new job, had no idea. And so the lenders were like, as soon as this year is up and you can actually qualify, then you can do this. So they're like, keep doing everything you're doing to move forward. And so sure enough, come June, it was with the builder. Come June that year, the agent had called me and she's like, hey, if you're still where you're at, then they said that we'll go ahead and do this contract. I was very specific. I was like, on this last house, this floor plan, before you get out of the community, please call me and let's see if it's close enough. And it worked. For us, we realized that no matter what somebody's credit is and whatever they need to do in repair, if there is situations like that, it may take them a year and it may take them up to 2 years, but within 2 years, almost max, because sometimes they need that, if they get a tax refund to help pay off some of their debt or to improve, their credit or to earn that down payment that they need. It's a lifelong process, and we're there for the long haul. And we love it when they can come in there and they qualify and they're able to get qualified and be able to buy a house really soon and quick and move forward. But we're there for everyone, even the one that takes 6 months of saying, hey, great job, you're getting it done. Let's keep going, keep checking in. And that buyer's consultation will break down all of that.
And like she said, it's a relationship. I have, yes, I love the relationships that I build with the people that I'm helping them to buy their homes, because I get to see families move into their first homes. I get to see even maybe that senior person who has this giant house now and needs to sell it and wants to downsize. And I've seen them from their first home all the way up to through their kids going through school, the kids getting married, me being invited to the wedding. So it's a lifelong relationship. And a lot of times people don't realize we're here to help you even after the sale of the house, even after you've moved in, if you've got some questions about something and you're not sure about the market or whatever is going on in the neighborhood, the area, let us know. Call us. Whatever information we can share with you about your area. If you're ready to sell and you're not quite sure because you saw this house down the street selling for less than what you think it should have sold for, give me a call. Let us help you to navigate those waters of real estate. We are here. We have the answers. We have those answers. We also have resources. Like we said, the mortgage people that we work with. We also have resources. I know on my roster, we have handyman, for instance. We were talking about that earlier. We have handyman.
Real quick, let me plug it in. So the answer has the information. Everyone, if you need a handyman, need something fixed in your house, look up Earl Horn. That's my people. He's the man.
He's the man. He is really good. He is on my roster. I recommend him a lot, Mr. Earl Horn. So we have those. We have roofers. We have people that we work with that are in our list of, my company calls it, we got a guy. So there are things, if you need it, you can call me and say, hey, my air conditioner went out or whatever. I don't know who to call. I got a guy. I can call, hey, call this guy and he'll help you, that kind of thing, or this person. So we're here for the long haul, not just you bought the house and we're done. No, we're here for the whole process. I just recently closed on one, and she wanted to redo her shower. And she said, I don't know anyone who can take my bathroom and put just a walk-in shower. I gave her a list of people that I work with for that. So we are here for that. We have resources, and that's what the realtors are for. So we're here to help you from beginning to, I don't want to say end, because we never end. We're always here for you.
Got you. There's a comment earlier someone made, I guess. Helena, welcome back. I thought I lost you for a second. Thank God you're back. But there was a comment earlier that someone who's watching made, said that their mom actually helped them, create a budget. There it goes, to see where the money is being wasted. Then I got my house. So something to take from that, everybody. Listen to your mom. They know what they're talking about.
Absolutely. My children, absolutely. And because I'm a realtor, when they were ready to buy their homes, that was the first thing. They were like, okay, Mom, what do we need to do? Well, what do I need to, that kind of thing. So it was a pleasure to help both of them with, purchasing their first home. But absolutely listen to your mom. But so we're here to help you create those budgets, help you to get yourself on track, and just give you information you may not have even known, because there are programs, like I said, that are out there to help you. There's things that we can do. Even people who have been in bankruptcy situations, don't think, oh my God, I had a bankruptcy 8 years ago, I'm never going to be able to, but no, let us look at it. Let's look at it. There are things and there are guidelines that are out there that may help you to get past that and get you into your first home. So there's things that we can do. Don't fear it. Don't fret it. There's always a way. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but we can figure out a way to get you in there eventually.
That's what's up. So next question. As you know, we talked about this recently, put an insert from my Uncle Earl, how he does works on houses, stuff like that. My family, I have a family of people that are always, good with their hands, building, interior design, very much into real estate, very much into, the housing situation and stuff like that, and everything, as far as building, refurbishing things like that and everything. What kind of advice would you give to someone who's looking to buy a property that's like maybe has a little wear and tear on it and it needs to be built up? First of all, do you even try to get people to buy properties like that? And if you do, what advice would you give them on that?
I have had a couple of people who have bought them, and it's because they are doing the same thing as your uncle. They are handy people that can go in and fix it up. So, and that's fine. If that's something that is in your wheelhouse to do, absolutely. Because I always tell people, especially my first time home buyers, please know there is no such thing as a perfect home. It is going to be perfect to a certain extent. Every home is going to be different. And I have this little thing that I do with my my clients is before we even get started, I make them draw me up a list of tell me what you would want in the perfect house that you want to buy. And then we go back and I say, now let's get real. Let's get real, because everybody wants that. And so now then we start checking. Okay, I'm like, do you really have to have a jacuzzi in the kitchen? Stuff like that.
A jacuzzi in the kitchen. I'm trying to live with them.
People they want what they want. So we hone in on the realism of what's out there. And that helps to set the tone, because then if you do see a house that you like, it's in the neighborhood you want to be in, but it has a little bit of wear and tear on it, and you want to maybe go in and fix it up. If you're handy, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go in, look at this home. Let's see if this is something that you can handle. Or if not, we have resources. We have resources with my company. We have resources like a list that I can say, hey, I know a guy. Girl, he can come in and help you fix that bathroom or help you fix whatever, and help maybe, and we can get him in, get you an estimate so you can see what that looks like before you even purchase the home. So there are things that can be done. Don't be afraid if the house needs a little bit of wear and a little bit of fixing up. That's okay. If you're okay with that, we know people. We can get that done. We can help you get that.
Gotcha. I see we're having some technical difficulties with Helena, but hopefully we'll get her back on the screen. If so, if we can't get her back, her comments will appear on the screen. We're going to address those comments too, because she definitely is a guest, and we want to make sure we show her that respect. She's having technical difficulties. Man, Sandra, you give us some good information, man, because I'm going to be real with you. Me and my wife have been renting. We're in our house right now, and I've been renting going on 2 years, and we had a discussion that, hey, after this, we need to go look into getting our first home and stuff like that. And I've had some scares in the past. I'm speaking on my personal stuff because I know a lot of people can relate, where it's like, maybe I don't make enough money, or maybe my credit isn't right, or, maybe I'll never be able to own my own house. Because sometimes, you work these jobs, and the average job today is paying between $15 an hour and $20 to $20 an hour. And if you do that yearly price, people I can't buy a house. I might as well stay rent these apartments, or you live in a situation where you need multiple incomes to even be considered to do something like that. So for people who are discouraged and have all these negative doubts about getting their own home, is there any advice you can give them or anything like that? Well, if someone asks me what's Cash App, help real quick. Cash App for T the Uncool. Money sign TDA Uncool. Whoever asked that, they support the podcast. We put positive energy out. Now back to our question. Ms. Tanji, for those who are discouraged as far as getting their own house and everything and actually going through the process, what kind of advice would you give to those people?
Well, like I said before, don't be discouraged. Yes, I totally understand what you're saying. And sometimes it does feel overwhelming, and it feels like maybe you're not in a place at this moment. Like I said before, if it's not now, let's work together to figure out how to make that work in the next 6 months, next 9 months, whatever, the next year, to get you in that position where you can buy. And if that's income, there are homes out there, all prices, with there are homes that range from whatever to whatever. So it's going to depend on, I'm going to help you to keep it real. Like I said before, if you come and you're making X amount of money, but yet if your money looks like this, but you want a house that looks like this, right, we're going to talk, I'm going to have real conversations with you. Like she said, the buyer's consultation, and we're going to have real conversations, and we're going to talk about, okay, this, and we have to remember as a first-time home buyer, and I always try to tell my first-time home buyers, this is probably not going to be the last time you buy a house. It is your first home. It's probably not ever going to be your last home. Most people move anywhere of an average between about 5 to 7 years. So it's not going to be your last home. So start somewhere, whether that's the 2-bedroom or the 3-bedroom little bungalow house that fits your needs right now, right, or whatever. Then, as she said before, when you build the equity up in that house and you're paying your mortgage on time and everything, in a couple years, you decide, you know what, we need something a little bit bigger. Our income's better now. This is going on now. Sell that house. Take the equity out of that house. Put it towards your next house. This is how you build that generational wealth that everyone's talking about, because you're taking that money and you're putting it toward your next investment. So there's a way. It may take some time, but don't be discouraged. Don't think, okay, I can never do this. You can do this. And we are here. I am here to help you find the way to do it.
Oh, no. Thank you, Tanji, because that motivated me. Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. No, I joke a lot. But no, seriousness though, That's very motivational because my personal dream has always been to, buy a house. If it's good, what I'm saying, stay in it, raise money up, move to the next one. Or if I have to fix it up, move to the next one, and start investing in rental properties. You know what I mean? And have that constant income coming in where I'm not working, or even I work my day job but still get income from the house and stuff like that. But my issue has always been I've never had the money to actually start that endeavor. So hearing you say things like that and say things like, "Hey, we'll help you figure it out," we'll this and that, and everything, giving those motivational cues, it helps. It helps a lot. It puts me in a spot as well as the viewers who want to do the same thing. Like, maybe, you know what? Maybe I can do this. It's gonna take some time. I can't get it right now, and that's the problem with us as people. We always want everything right there, right now. We have that right now complex, and none of us have the patience to actually do the work and be patient enough to actually go through the process, to trust the process. You know.
Right.
So that's very, very encouraging for people like me and others who are watching and stuff like that. Okay, we got a question. Is Tanja going to be going to the Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Beauty Bazaar?
Yes, I am. I will be there. I am actually going to be modeling. Yes, I am. I am going to be one of the models in the fashion show. So I'm very, very excited about that. It's actually my first time. So I'm very excited to be a part of it. I love what this organization is representing, the awareness of alopecia and, getting rid of the stigmatization behind it. I love it. So I'm excited to be a part of it and trying to see if I can get all my little, sparkly things together so I can walk in the fashion show. But we'll see how that works out. But yes, I will be attending, and I'm very, very excited about it.
Well, one thing I can say that I've noticed that women who are bold, bald, and beautiful, y'all really be killing the sparklies. Y'all be killing this. Y'all be bedazzling yourselves up, man. Y'all be killing it.
We gotta make it. We gotta make it shine. We gotta make it shine.
There ain't nothing wrong with that. Also, like I said before we started, guys, we got back from the break. Myself, T-Horne da Uncool, will be performing at the Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Beauty Bazaar. So it's going to be a good time. So come out and support, these ladies and what they're doing. Some alopecia awareness. We're having positive energy, positive music, fashion shows. It's going to be a good time. I mean, I'm not bald, but we're going to see.
But you're bold and beautiful. So there
you
go.
There you go. Halfway there. So I'm going to support, you know what I mean? And plus shout out to my producer, Angie B. I think she's hosting the whole thing and everything like that. But she's like the main spokesperson for this thing, and she's been going in. So shouts out to Angie B too. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. We got like 20 minutes left in the show. I gotta think of any more questions that come to mind with real estate, because like I said, you encouraged me to the point where me and Mark are going to be out of our business. So the first thing we're going to do is come see you guys. Helena, you back? You be good? We got you?
So yeah, I'm here. All this internet out here is crazy.
It's all good. We're glad to have you back. I've been looking through the private chat and I've been seeing the conversation. I was like, Lord, we gotta get Helena back on the screen, man. She having some difficulties, but we had you back. We was gonna put comments just in case you couldn't come back on, but we're glad to have you back. So a lot of questions have been asked since you've been gone. We talked about first-time home buyers, encouraging people who are basically discouraged about buying a home. We talked about the DIY properties, like I say, do-it-yourself properties and stuff like that. And so we had a lot of insight on stuff like that. So when it comes to those topics, first-time home buyers, encouraging them, working on a DIY property or things like that, do you have any input to give in those situations?
Just know that it's going to cost you more than you expect on those.
That's what I wanted to hear. That's what I wanted to hear. That's what I wanted. I need to know that, because I'm telling y'all, money be an issue with a lot of people. And the question is it more profitable to buy a brand new house or get a DIY property and fix it up? Because some people are like, okay, you can fix up your own way and this and that, but it's going to cost you a lot more than buying a brand new house. And then some people are like, yeah, I'm going to get this brand new house, but it's not actually built the way I want it. I just bought it because I want a place to live and stuff like that. So which one is better, the new property or DIY property? You guys tell me. I don't know.
So, I mean, it really depends on your preference. But one thing that I will say, so out here in Clay County, you can still buy a brand new home for just barely, around 300, 315, 320, all day long under 350. The builders are offering the incentives. So they're buying the rate down. They're giving you money to help with some of the closing costs to where it's going to be less and out of pocket for you. And you still qualify, when you're getting them for under 5% when the normal interest rates are 7, depending on what time of the month it is. Um, it's going to get you in there. So if you're looking at spending $350,000 and you're able to get in there and decide, hey, this is one that I want to rent, if that community allows it, then you've got a home that you can rent and have a warranty on your home. It's brand new. You're not going to have to deal with the roof, the AC, any of those things for quite some time. So depending on what you're wanting to do, you can save a lot of headache if you're trying to do that rental. Cause I heard a little bit of conversation about the rentals. Um, and you have good renters because they're living in a good neighborhood and they like what they're doing versus buying the cheaper rundown older that's going to cost you more than you ever imagine on those renovations because you've got your budget, but it's that unknown that comes in there and gets you. And that house that's older is always going to be older when you want to sell it. And 5-10 years from now, if the market's better, or you want to unload the ones that you have and start all over in another area, they're only 10 years old. So it's stuff to think about when you're trying to invest.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh Lord, y'all just make it so hard.
No. Just hey, get the pre-approval, know what you can shop for, and that's the beginning part.
Yes.
Know how much money you have to have in the bank. Know what those costs are going to be, and that helps you know when you can shop, or if you need to wait. So
Oh, I thought, yeah.
No, okay.
Well, one of the things that she was saying, I agree with, and she was saying about you were asking, and you're right. Of course, if you're going to do a DIY home, you do, like I said before, you want to make sure you have the budget to do that. If it's a newer home, you don't have to worry about those renovations and things like that. However, if that's what you want to do and you have the budget to fix it up, then absolutely. Or if you have the budget to pay someone to help you fix it up, absolutely. It's going to be a preference more than anything. It's just really going to be a preference. And it's also what she was saying about saving, your money. That's the other thing about being a first-time home buyer. If you can save money, please try to save money. Try to have some money in the bank saved, because there are certain out-of-pocket costs, whether you're buying an older home that you're going to renovate, because you got to have that money to renovate. If you're buying a newer home, some of the closing costs, yes, we will help you, or the new builder will help you in certain closing costs, but you still want to make sure you have monies to move. Because you have to, make sure you have that. You want to make sure you have monies for your utilities to get those turned on. You want to make sure your expenses in moving. You want to make sure those things are in the bank. So, and mortgage companies will look at that and making sure that you have enough money in the bank to pay, I believe it's up to 6 or 8 months of your mortgage payments. So they want to see that. You want to have money in your account that shows, yes, I can get this house and I have the money to maintain it and take care of it at least for X amount of time. So save your money, save as much as you can. And yes, there are programs to help you with certain down payments and things if you don't have a lot of it, but just try to save as much as you can.
Gotcha. So, and this may be out of the ballpark question. Oh, I'm sorry, real quick. To answer that question, they said that Elena have a script on the shirt. I'm sorry, we lost her. Sorry. You can't answer that question. But, out of the park question. It relates to what we're talking about, but it's not out of the park. So we know we've been hearing a lot of talk about people getting loans and stuff like that. And this is a question for me. with me working with the school system and everything, I see a lot of people when it comes to the school system, nonprofit organization, getting things like grants. You know what I'm saying? So let's just say, do you work with people like, say, I want to get a property and I want to build a boys' home or something like that, and I want you to try to go about getting a grant or something or getting a loan to do that and stuff like that. Do you help people with situations like that?
I don't particularly work with people like that. We do have people in our company that's more, now you're leaning more toward almost a commercial type of situation, because you're talking about buying a building to, yeah. So you're looking at more of a commercial property. And we do have agents in our company that are specialized in things like that, in just commercial properties, and they help you to find those properties and help you to get whatever it is you need to get it to them.
So for those who don't understand, I do, but I figure you can explain it a little better. A lot of people probably won't understand who are just coming into a home buying game. Difference between a resident going for a residential property and going for a commercial property. Could you explain that real quick so people understand?
Yes. So a residential property is just that. It is a property where you will be residing, that the government or the mortgage companies and the government says you will be residing, living in that home, either as a direct, that's your personal home, or a personal, like second home, that type, but it's your home that you will own personally and you will be living there. Commercial properties are basically, if you're buying something, storefront, for instance, if you want to start a restaurant and you want to buy a storefront or a building to start that restaurant, or like you said, a boys' home, if you want to buy a building for different businesses and things like that. So that's when you're dealing with the commercial properties. And so they're two separate entities. And we do have specialized people in our company in Coldwell Banker that specialize in strictly the commercial industry. And they work with people in getting those buildings to secure whatever they need to start their businesses.
Can people live in the commercial properties? Like, say they started a business like a restaurant, something like that, and they want to make the back of the area like a place they could live and stuff like that. Does that have anything to do, or would it like disqualify them from getting help as far as getting commercial properties and stuff like that?
No, and like I said, I don't do the commercial side of it, but so you're saying like if you had a pizza shop below and you wanted to live above it or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, it really is going to be the way that your mortgage is going to be handled. Part of it's going to be commercial and the other part is going to be the residential part. So it's almost like you're taking two separate mortgages on those. So.
Wait, hold on. We got Helena's scripture below.
Yes, I had to walk outside.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Hey,
Helena,
we gotta do what we gotta do.
Yeah. While you were gone, people were asking, was there a scripture on your shirt? I mean, you got it scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Is that Jeremiah 29:13?
Yes, that is mine. Yes. It's actually on all my marketing material as a realtor as well. My broker allows me to have a memory verse. And so as a candidate, it's on all my stuff. And, that's the thing. A lot of people didn't get to hear my story. If we lose connection, please find me on Facebook. I shared my post on May 28th on my personal page, and then June 10th on my campaign page. And it tells you where I came from, and by the grace of God, what he's done in my life and where we're at today. So I'm very grateful.
Real quick question, because after that, Tanja, you need to get your information too. But real quick question, Helena, what made you choose that scripture in particular?
I went through a lot as a child and as a teenager, and some of the things that I went through were very traumatic and evil. I mean, when you're abused as a kid, it's very real. And no matter what I've went through, I've known that God has a plan and a purpose for me, and it's not for evil. And even though evil things do happen, he still uses it for his honor and glory. And when we call on him, he's there for us, and he hears our prayers and answers them. And when we seek him, we find him. And so that's what I've done and what he's done, and very special.
It's good to hear someone with strong faith, and that strong faith they have actually pushed them in a positive direction no matter what negativity they've been through. So that's very good to hear and very uplifting. So we have Helena Cormier. I'm saying that right?
Cormier, yes.
Cormier, yes. Realtor and running for state Committee Women in Clay County. Now, Miss Tandri, we got 10 minutes left in the show. Could you give us some information about how everybody can contact with you, some things you're doing, if they want to talk to you about real estate and stuff like that, just like Mr. Lane, give us some of your information?
Absolutely. Again, Tanji Davis. I'm a realtor with Coldwell Banker Vanguard Realty, and I'm located in St. Johns County. But again, I can service all the different areas of Jacksonville. I mainly focus on the St. Johns County and the Nocatee area, but if you need me, I'm here. So, and I also volunteer with our local elections board. So I am a clerk of the St. Johns County. So yes, I'm involved with the elections board. So I love doing that as well. So I love working in the community and helping our community and helping women. And my mission is always to empower women and to help them to grow and to be the best that God has created them to be.
Amen.
And let's see, Tandri, Angie B said to have your husband call her.
You got it.
So, guys, I have one more question before we go off and end the show and everything, got your information and stuff like that. And it's kind of like off topic, but I try to stay with the current events and stuff like that. So, I'm going to ask you guys, since this is like the most recent thing outside of the Sandra Massey thing, how do you guys feel about Joe Biden stepping down and Kamala Harris stepping up?
Do you want me to start?
Sure.
I'm very excited about that. Yes, I'm very excited about it. I think that we will have two candidates and see how they go head to head, and I'm very excited to see how that comes out.
Okay, Ms. Helena, how you feel about it?
It has been very hard for me to watch our President Biden. Just seeing him be an elder and just seeing his health. For me, because I do care about people, and what I've seen in his health has just hurt my heart. So I felt bad for him and they're serving and trying to do. And I just wish he could enjoy his retirement for the rest of his years that he does have. We'll just kind of go from there. So we'll see what happens with the nominee and if she does get that role or who they put in against Trump.
Yes. Okay. Good stuff. All right. With that being said, we are coming to a close of our show. If you guys want to support Conversations with T-Horne da Uncool, once again, you can donate to our Cash App. That is # TDA Uncool, short for T. Well, actually abbreviated for T da Uncool. Please donate because we want to keep spreading positive energy. We want to keep providing understanding. We want to keep giving y'all a good time. We're also letting y'all know what's going on in the world in a positive way. We spread love and positivity around here. So donate to the show. My show premieres every Tuesday at 7 p.m. And you can catch it on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Also, you can catch it on YouTube. You can catch it on Facebook. We stream through StreamYard. If you're watching on Facebook, you can catch it on my page, the T-Horne da Uncool fan page. Or you can catch it on the Conversation with T-Horne da Uncool group. So join that group, like that page, and watch on YouTube. We have two great guests that came on tonight who talked about some great stuff. Let us know about real estate, have encouraged me to go into my house buying process. Thank you guys so much. And we talked about important issues, the current events, where we talked about Sandra Massey and how that situation shouldn't have happened. I'm pretty sure people still have questions, but the fact of the matter is, even though somebody did lose their life and it's sad to say that had to happen, this is a learning experience in two ways. First of all, it advises us how we should be with the police because we never know what we're going to be with. But also, it's a reflection of how evil the world has gotten and how we need to be better toward our fellow man and stuff like that. Because that situation shouldn't have happened, and it's a tragedy for real. That woman shouldn't have had to die, especially when she was calling for help and everything. With that being said, you guys have anything else you want to say before we end the show out? Any information we want to give out?
So as a candidate, one of the most important things for me that I've been running on is unity among the Republican Party. We have to be praying and putting on the spiritual armor of God. Our fight is not against flesh and blood, but against evil and principalities. And we see that all across our country. And then second, for me as a Republican, trying to get our residents engaged and to want to be involved, and any of these people that are moving here to understand this is a closed primary state, and we've got to be able to reach our 18-year-olds as they're starting to be able to age and be able to vote. And then the third one is a collaboration among our county and among our elected officials, our communities, families, and the other state committee men and women. And I do believe that focusing on those three will help tremendously keep Clay County red and strong and keep our Christian conservative values.
Gotcha. I told you last shot. You got anything you want to say?
Oh, I just wanted to say, just pray for our country, pray for our nation. I agree. I believe that we need to come together, not just as parties or individuals, but we need to come together as a nation. And I pray for that every single day. So we are one nation under God, and we need to start behaving as such. So,
got you. Well, I definitely want to thank you guys for coming on tonight. You guys have gave some great information. You've encouraged me as well as the viewers. I'm pretty sure from this podcast, a lot of people will be hitting you guys up to talk about things such as, what's going on in Clay County on the political side, as far as, if they want to buy houses, as far as the realtor side and everything. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a very good networking tool for you guys, and I hope the best in both of your endeavors. I really do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. I appreciate you guys being in the show. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and end out. This was Conversation with T-Horne da Uncool. Join us next time. We're going to have another Boss Behind topic and have a good time. We're spreading positive energy, giving understanding, and we're here for y'all. So if you want this love, if you want this energy, keep watching. I'm T-Horne da Uncool. This Conversation with T-Horne da Uncool. Y'all know what I say. I know what I do. Be blessed. Be uncool.
Don't judge me until you know me. Don't underestimate me until you challenge me. And don't talk about me until you talk to me. Or better yet, mind your business and stop minding mine.
Yeah, I'm the topic of conversation. Circles talk about me. Yeah, I'm in rotation. I'm the one they talk and then they gossip about. Now it's so hard for them to keep my name out their mouth. Oh, I'm the topic of conversation. Circles talk about me. Yeah, I'm in rotation. I'm the one they talk and then they gossip about. Now it's so hard for them to keep my name out their mouth. Oh, when my name coming out, must taste good to keep it in your mouth. Got something must for you if you go down south. I'm just playing. What the heck you talking about, huh? Why you worry about who I wanna date, huh? Why on the main course on your plate, huh? Why everything concerning me gotta turn to be argument or debate, huh? Is he a Christian religion? Has he forsaken? He just was dating her. How many women he dating? Had another kid? That nigga don't know when to stop. I heard he smoking, getting high. Boy, that fell from the top. See what I learned. This your concern. It's all about me. Y'all gossiping made me look at y'all like female dolls in heat. But let's make something concrete. I'm seasoned, yes indeed. Y'all must like the recipe, cause y'all all on my meat. Yeah, I'm the topic of conversation. Circles talk about me. Yeah, I'm in rotation. I'm the one they talk and then they gossip about. Now it's so hard for them to keep my name out their mouth. Oh, I'm the topic of conversation. Circles talk about me. Yeah, I'm in rotation. I'm the one they talk and then they gossip about. Now it's so hard for them to keep my name out their mouth. Oh, haters try to diss me, they love me, but they dismiss me. Play hard, but acting sissy. They lies be so convincing, and exes get jealous quickly. They won't admit that they miss me. They hate that I moved on, so use my children against me just to keep up the top. People peep on my wall, just to keep tabs on my flaws, just to keep me involved. Doing everything they ask me, but that ain't enough. I'm on everybody's tongue, and everybody on my jump. His rap career won't take off. That nigga ain't hard, he really soft. Try to see his page, but I'm blocked. He was living for Jesus, then he stopped. He get girls just to knock him off. He lies, the truth ain't what he taught. I be so close to popping off, but then I realize I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I'm the topic of conversation. Circles talk about me. Yeah, I'm in rotation. I'm the one they talk and then they gossip about. Now it's so hard for them to keep my name out their mouth. Oh, I'm the topic of conversation. Circles talk about me. Yeah, I'm in rotation. I'm the one they talk and then they gossip about. Now it's so hard for them to keep my name out their mouth. Oh,
My whole life, I lived it based off of other people's opinions. They judge what I do, what I say, how I think, and I judge my whole life based off their interpretations. But now I got to the point where I realize my life is my own, and I'm the only one that can live it. So, If you got an opinion, keep it to yourself. I'ma live how I see fit.
I'm the topic of conversations. Yeah, I'm in rotation. Gossip about. Keep my name out their mouth. Oh.